All right, going live in three, two, one. Well, this is Totally Random with Katie. We're up to episode number 12. Hello, Katie. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay, doing okay. Are you affected by the snow, this big snowstorm that's moving through right now? Did you
I
hear any
was
of that?
last night. I was driving like an hour and a half when it started, and I didn't even realize it was supposed to snow. Well, one of my coworkers, like in Texas, messaged me a photo of the snow, and I'm like, "Wait, it's supposed to snow? Why is it snowing in Texas?" And then all of a sudden, within like a few hours, it just started like snowing. I had to drive through it, and it was awful.
Oh, as far as it doesn't look like it's too bad here. It's just basically a little layer, like an inch or so on
Oh,
the grass, but the roads are just basically wet. So it does.
that's good. I'm done with snow. It's March. It should be spring.
And the about a week ago, we were getting 80-degree temperatures, daytime temperatures. Now we're getting all the way down to like we're supposed to drop down to less than 20 degrees tonight for the overnight lows. So it's like we're all over the place still. It's like hot. But yeah, I can't wait till spring gets here too. So
I almost want to pull up my weather. I feel like I literally saw the same thing. It was going to be, yeah, it's 30 today. It's literally going to get to 70 on Wednesday. And then it's going back to like 50 and then back to 70. Like it's insane. It's such a big difference.
so we got Wadi Gamer saying, "What's up, guys? What's up? What's up to you?" So obviously, before we go too far, I want to remind everybody, if you'd like to support what we're doing, we have an affiliate link in the description below for NordVPN, and it's a service that I've used. And I checked it out, and we got at least 200 people that clicked on the service. They didn't. Well, didn't that doesn't mean that's how many people bought the service, but people are clicking on the link. We really appreciate that. And the service, if you'd like to hide your location, like to protect your identity, it works pretty well, and I've used it in the past. And I definitely endorse, or I definitely say it's a good product or service. And if you decide to purchase that, that would help fund what we're doing, and we'd really appreciate that. The final thing, the price that's listed there is definitely a greater discount if you bought it directly from them. You would get at least half off for the price for the service itself. So thanks again. So, all righty. Let's see. We can go ahead and check our question for last week. Well, it was actually 3 weeks ago. So give
I
me a
know it
second.
seems so long ago. You said the question. I was like, wait, was that the last time we did a show?
Yeah, last time we did a show was for the big game. Is what we got here. Who do you want to win the big game? And we had LA. I don't even know who won. Do you know who won? I have not been paying
It
attention.
was the Rams.
Oh, so okay, 85% with the Rams. Now, of course, these results could be tainted by the fact that they already won, and maybe these people answered after the fact, so we don't really know. So,
Does it
uh,
does the question go away after like a day or no?
no,
Or
in
like can you
fact,
still vote? Like
we can still vote now too, so it doesn't go
oh,
away.
okay.
And there's no way
Yeah.
to stop it unless we like take it down. So we have to leave it up there. So, who do you want to win the big? Who do you want to win the big game? 85% with the Rams, and only 15% with the Bengals.
Oh
Interesting.
wow. Well, I guess the most popular team won. So that's good.
So who did you want to win? Did you say, or were you
Um,
like me, just not really in a big? It didn't really affect me. So
yeah, I mean, either team. I mean, I always like LA because I just like that's a place I've always wanted to live and like so and I appreciate that. So I was like, well, LA, but I know the Bengals too, like Joe Burrow. He's like up and coming and he's really good and I was kind of rooting for him more for the Bengals and I like the Bengals name. So I feel like I was leaning more towards the Bengals this time, but I'm happy that the Rams won too because they just I mean either team deserves to win. So but yeah.
yeah, for me, both teams are just like I draw a blank whenever I see both of them. I just don't care.
I just
So,
started recently getting into football this year, probably because friends made me watch it. So then I
uh,
started to like kind of get more interested in like the players. I still don't know exactly what they're doing, but I'm like, oh yeah, go Joe, oh go Matt, like kind of rooting for the people.
before we go too far, we got a couple of people that said Kitty's on. No, Kitty, this is not Kitty's. Kitty's on is in the video game Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Kitty's on is a girlfriend that you can acquire as the main player can acquire her as a girlfriend in the game. So no, not this. That's a different Kitty. So So I thought I'd answer that since there a couple of people were asking. Let's see. We got Danny Higgins saying, "No, I watch real sports, and it ain't called you. It's called the
That's what.
UFC." Let's see. The Bengals praying. Let's see. I'm sorry. I need my magnifier. Let me bring that back. 1
It
second.
just says IB.
IB. Okay. Let's see. Bulworth. Okay. Kiss Best Fan says Bulworth Bulls. Okay. Bulworth Bulls is a football team that's on the another video game called Bully. So that's a high school football team. So um, MSM 95J says I'm biased because I live in Ohio, but I hope the Bengals win. They have yet to win a Super Bowl. I believe it's their only appearance in history. I'm sorry. I believe it's their
Only
third
third Super.
appearance in history. Yes, thank you. And they were, and the way they played when it mattered most this year has been incredible.
And
So
that's not biased. That's just your hometown. That's who you're going to want to win.
yeah. And I'm sorry to say, no, they did not win. So let's see the Rams, and finally, not an NFL fan. So okay, all right. Yeah. I remember I might have said this before, but I do remember the last time, or one. I don't know if it was the last time, but during the '90s when the Bengals played, and I don't remember. I guess they lost that time. I wasn't really that interested either, so I don't remember who they played against at that point. So, but
Yeah, I don't know.
alrighty. So let's see. We can. Oh, anything else you'd like to add to that before we ask our new question?
No, I mean that was a few weeks ago. There's not really anything else to add on that other than congrats to the team that won.
Alrighty. So our question for this week, we were trying to decide what to say. Why don't
Mhm.
you something about moving, right? You wanted to ask if you had a bad experience moving, something to that effect.
Yeah, something like either like leaving your old place, going to the new place, going to the new, just like apartment shopping in general. Overall moving experience, I guess. Like, have you? I mean, I guess you want someone to have a good one. So I guess I don't know if we ask more in a bad way. Like, have you had? Is there a time where you've had a overall bad moving experience?
Uh, about have you ever had a bad moving experience? Let's see. Have
Sure.
you ever had moving experience? And we could say give a let's see experience, and we could say give an example or leave a comment.
Yeah. And I guess the answers would just be yes and no, maybe, or something like that.
Oops. Amount. There we go. Alrighty. Oops. All right, yes. No. Uh, let's see. I guess we could put that there. I've never moved before. I guess something
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
that's good. Yeah.
It's if they're especially if they lived in the same house their whole life or something.
I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, I guess that's nice in a way. You didn't have to like go through moving, but also like I like moving. I almost like, but then again, when I was apartment shopping, I was like, well, I kind of like my apartment now more than any of these other ones. Um, but yeah,
Sure.
I've never moved.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess you say yes, many, but that's probably fine.
Okay. Okay, we'll go with that then. Have you ever a bad moving experience? Leave a comment. Yeah. No. Okay. So look good.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All righty. So we'll come back to that in a little bit. See what the kind of results we get there. All right. So as far as a moving experience, so what you said you've had many experiences, is that right? Or
Oh, I haven't. Well, I've only really had one. Well, I've really only moved twice. Well,
oh
3 times, but if you count when I was younger, but, no, I would like that I was saying, like, for the answer, you could put yes, many,
oh I see. I see. Oh I see. Okay, gotcha. I miss
but
gotcha.
yeah,
So
yes.
have you had a bad for yourself though? Have you had a bad moving experience though that you could share or
Yeah, well, okay, when I moved like, where I am currently, it wasn't necessarily well, I don't know how much I should get into, but I guess I don't know if that necessarily has to do with moving, but I didn't really have a bad experience, but once I moved here, I've had a bad experience ever since I've been in this apartment. And then the whole ownership changed, and I'm currently dealing with them right now that they want to like come in and take pictures of everything next week, but I'm not moving out for another 3 months. So I'm just like, why do you need to take pictures of my stuff? But
They want
um
they want to take pictures of your personal items? Is that what they want to do?
I don't know if it's like my personal items. It's probably just like the baseboards and just like kind of getting an idea of what maybe needs to be fixed. But the thing is like I have furniture in front of everything. Like they're not going to get an accurate depiction
Oh,
of
I see.
like what they need to fix when I have stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, can we push that out? But they just kind of stopped responding. So I don't know. Um, but this apartment complex, like, it's really nice and it's like pretty and stuff, but the management is just management. I don't know if that's at most places or not, because this is the first apartment complex I've really like lived in by myself. Um, so, but the process of like moving to another one now, I feel like is really interesting. Like, I don't know if anyone else has dealt with stuff like this, but like, oh yeah, just like touring apartments. Like, I'm always amazed at like, it was interesting to see like how much people share. I don't know if I should go into the stories. They're kind of funny. Um,
Sure. Sure. Yeah. If you want to, if
but
what you think would be best, I guess. So,
Okay. Well, there was one. It was kind of funny. I went to this place and it was really pretty. And I honestly like it. Like after going there, it was one of my first choices. But then after sitting down with the girl, I kind of like asked about like which floor. Like, is it like kind of like loud in the area? Because with my schedule, I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to know kind of like the noise level. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I mean, like I understand it's apartment living." And she was like, "Yeah, like I live on a second floor," and she's like, it's crazy. Like I can hear the people below me and the people above me. And she's like, and I can smell fish cooking constantly. Like it's really gross, but I can smell it and it like seeps up through like the like vents and stuff. And I'm like, wait, do you live here? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, why are you telling me this? Like, you're trying to get me to get an apartment. Like, why are you telling me that your apartment smells like fish from the people below you? And like I appreciate her honesty, but now I'm not going with that company. But like, I'm glad she told me because then I started looking up reviews and people did say like the walls were really thin, like it's really pretty, but I mean that's how it is here though too though. Like it's really pretty, but the walls are thin and you can hear basically everything. I almost feel like I have a roommate and like they're just across, they're just in the next room. Um, but I was just kind of like, "Whoa, okay." I'm like, "Thanks," and then just kind of left. But I just thought that was so funny that she like lived there and was telling me all this stuff. Um, but once again, like I appreciate her honesty because otherwise I would have probably been mad.
uh,
Um,
I, I,
um,
I guess if you so is basically you've lived only mainly in apartments. In my entire life, I've only lived in an apartment when I was like up to the age of 5. Since then, I've always lived in houses. So
oh, that's nice. Yeah.
so when I lived in a when I was started living on my own, I rented a room, and that was I just needed a place. So I was kind of desperate, so I lived there for 13 years. Then I bought my first house, and I will say this: if you're ever going to buy a home, be very careful. The rental, real estate agents, they're not most of them are the ones I dealt with anyway. I'm not saying all of them are like this. I had two
Mhm.
sets of real estate agents, and they're not trustworthy at all. They'll try to do anything they can to sell as quickly as possible. And they don't care. So my experience is they try to sell you the house, and then what they'll do is they'll try to represent you and the person that's selling the house, which is something I learned afterwards. You never do. You have your own real estate agent, and then you let the seller have their own agent. Otherwise, it's going to be they're going to be trying to they'll be work the one same agent will be dealing with both the buyer and the seller, and that means that you will probably get a bad deal out of the situation. So,
Right. If
uh,
it's the same person working for both,
yeah, yeah.
that's
So
interesting.
and I made that mistake, and it was a bad decision. And that once the deal was done for my first house, the guy he was basically very open to me, but once the deal was done, he wouldn't basically talk to me after that. He just wanted to get out of there and just leave, and he didn't say congratulations or anything. He just left. So I realized it's not, I'd never went back to that guy. I bought my second house, and it was kind of the same kind of a situation. It's the my agents were they were trying to do anything they can to sell, and it's just it's a very bad experience. Be very if you ever buy a house, just be careful and try to step back. Don't let them push you around. and I was desperate to move, so I was letting them push me around a little bit more than I should have. I made the comparison when I was buying cars. How the dealers are trying to trick me into paying more for a car back in October, and I bought my new car, and I walked away from a couple of dealers who upped the price by a couple thousand
Mhm.
dollars on the car, what they listed, and then I should have handled my house buying the same way. I didn't. I let them kind of push me around a little bit, and I kind of regret that now. But that's my experience. Is they, if I was kind of desperate at the time, and I let them push me around. You need to be in control and tell them, dictate to them. Don't let them tell you what to do. That's the important thing. So,
Right, because it's like you're gonna be the person living there, and like it's like you're your own advocate to like what you need. Because yeah, they're just looking out for themselves. It's kind of like when you get your hair cut, like they just are like, oh, I think like it would look good like this, or like I think like it's like okay, I don't really like yeah, I like value your opinion, but I'm gonna be the one living with it, and I'm gonna like after I leave here, I'm gone. Like
uh,
you're then I don't come back, but I'm living with this hair every day. So it's like the same thing as like with a car or like an apartment or whatever. Like don't let someone talk you into it because they're the one that's trying to get the money. Um,
right.
you have to look out for yourself.
And the difference was when I was buying my car, I wasn't in desperate need of a car, whereas when I was buying my house, I was more in desperate need of getting a house. I just wanted to move I wanted to get out of my other place where I was living pretty quickly. So, and yeah, it's just one of those things. Like I said, this is my advice. So my experiences were both bad in buying my houses, and so the interesting thing is one of the people I used to have a woman who was working for me. Her name was Mary, about 12 years ago, and she moved on to do sell real estate. And one day, her and I were talking, and I told her, you shouldn't be in real estate. And she took that as like I was being offensive to her. I said, I explained to her, I said, you're just too nice of a person to be in real estate.
Mm.
You don't, I can't imagine you trying to,
Nice people.
yeah,
She'll probably get a lot of work if she's nice and honest.
yeah. So,
Maybe. Or
and
maybe people like the people that aren't nice and honest because they believe them more. I don't know.
so, but I think she's still doing that now. And, but it's, if I had to sell, if I need a real estate agent, I'd probably go to her now because I've known her for 20 years. So it's probably be best bet.
Mhm.
That'd be my best bet now. So, but
Yeah.
as far as moving in, moving into an apartment, I've heard the horror stories of people and condominiums as well. Like you're saying, it's but I'm surprised, like you said, that they were so forthcoming. That woman was like she was like the manager or property manager or something. Is that right?
Well, yeah, she must have been either the property manager or just like the person that showed the apartments because there was another girl that was there, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird because like that place like was so honest and then I went to another place and like I'm kind of mad at myself because I mean, I knew I needed an apartment and like literally the market is going so quick. Like there was one I was interested in and I woke and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it in the morning so I can think on it. And I woke up the next morning and it was gone. So when I saw this other unit could become available, I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna put my deposit in on it because like I don't want to be out it and I don't want to like be staying in a hotel for 2 months. So I'm just gonna like put money in on it. And then like I went down there the next like 2 days later to like look at the actual unit. And I like in between that time I was looking at reviews and I read like just a week ago people were posting about a mold issue in the building. And I was like, great. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna ask her about it there. Maybe it was just like maybe it was taken care of. And I was like, yeah, like this all looks great. I just have like one question about I read some comments that people were dealing with mold issues and getting like sinus infections that they were like complaining about. I'm like, do you have any knowledge of this? And she's like, yeah, I can only comment on good reviews. She's like, but if you see mold, you can let us know. And I'm just like, okay, well, if there was mold, was it taken care of? And she's like, well, like again, if you see mold, you can let us know and you can terminate your lease. And I'm like, okay, that makes me feel like there's still mold in here because you can't even tell me that it was like taken care of. It would be different if she was like, I can't touch on it, but if there was an issue, it would be taken care of. It'd be different if she like worded it like that, but she couldn't even like comment on it. She was just like, well, if you see it, you can let us know and we'll clean it. And I'm just like, okay. So I was kind of mad at myself that I had already put money down on this and then found this out. But I guess in the long run, I'll save that money by not getting sinus infections. I don't know. So it was weird that like one place you have is so honest with you, and then like some people like won't even share. Like that's a major issue. My friend right now, she was dealing like when COVID was all happening, she was dealing with this like chronic cough and like she was like really sick, and they no doctors would see her because COVID had just started, and like they were like, well, you have COVID, you have COVID. And she had like, oh my God, she had like 100 COVID tests. She had to have a COVID test every time before she went to a doctor. But even when she tested negative, they were still telling her, oh, you can't come because you might be positive, because like it was when it was like unknown and everyone was like kind of, I mean, people are still dying from it, but it was almost crazy. And she was getting so frustrated because she's like, I don't have COVID. Like, and she could barely breathe. Like it was a mess. And then they just found out like a month ago because her building, or it's like a duplex that she's in. Someone bought it out to like take over ownership, but the new buyers like had a whatever team come in with like hazmat suits and just like make sure everything was good to go before they bought it. And they found tons of black mold in the basement.
Mm.
And so she was having this issue then, I guess, from the black mold. And like she kept asking her landlord, like, is there mold? Like, is there something going on? And she's like, no, it's fine. It's like, there's nothing there. But then once this team came in, they found, and they were like, I guess she said that the landlord told them that there was no one home. So they had bleached the whole basement, and like she was upstairs with her dog, and like they couldn't breathe. And like, as she said, and like the dog was like almost passing out on the floor. And she's like, what is going on? And then she went down and asked like, what is happening? And they're like, why are you here? Like, you shouldn't be here. They had like hazmat suits on and like face cover, like huge like helmets, she said. And then she's like, what? Like, they didn't tell me to leave. And they're like, yeah, we're bleaching this place because it's full of mold in the basement.
Oh
And
my
she's like,
goodness.
what?
Was she-
So
did anything happen to? Was she okay? I mean, as far as with that with the hazmat part. I mean, did anything happen
yeah.
to her with that?
No, well, so then that company, not even the landlord, but that company put her and her boyfriend, because who stays there sometimes, up in a hotel until like it was completely like cleaned out, because they were like, yeah, you should not be in here. But I think like since then she's kind of like been on medicines and stuff like steroids or whatever she needs to be on to like help that, whatever she was dealing with.
Oh
But I'm
wow.
just like, that's crazy. So now that's in my head about mold. And I'm just like, I don't want to deal with a place that might have mold,
Oh
because
goodness.
that's something you don't want to mess with. Um, yeah,
It,
because that just like terrified me. So that was like interesting about that. And then there was another apartment I went to, and I was just like, are people here just like like, do they just overly share? But it's like nice to know people are like friendly and want to talk, because there was this other girl, this other apartment complex. She was super sweet, super nice, and I honestly, because of her, I almost wanted to go with this apartment complex, but I just ended up going somewhere else. But like she like almost shared her whole life story with me on like this walkthrough of the apartment, and I was like, oh my God, this girl is so nice, but like I just met her. So it was, and I don't know, maybe that she just does that so people feel more comfortable. But and that made me want to go with that apartment. But it's just interesting like how different people are so different, like doing
it,
that stuff.
yeah, honesty and just yeah, it's interesting. And
Yeah.
I didn't know it's like like a I guess you would call it like a seller's market, so to speak, for the for apartments. I didn't know that. So for you, you're the in a sense would be the buyer. So
Mhm.
is that across the country, or is that just where you live? I haven't not heard about that. Is that a
Oh, what do you mean? What is your question?
well, it's like I said, it's kind of like a seller's market, so to speak, for the apartments, so to speak. You're not buying, obviously, but I mean, it's I'm not sure how to phrase it. When it's a seller's market for homes, that means like the sellers are easy to sell the homes more. They can sell them more easily. When it's a buyer's market, it's easier for the buyer to buy the home. So in a sense, you would be in like a buyer because you're like renting. So
Mhm.
it's not to your advantage. It's to the advantage of the apartment complex right now. So is that a common thing across the country, or is that just in your area?
It probably just depends what the market is right now. Like right now, I feel like there's no housing. Like even here, because um like sometimes I think about moving to like another apartment just because it is a little costly, like where I am and with everything, but there's nothing open. Like I literally went to apartments.com and there's two things and they're more expensive than what I'm living in, and it's not as nice. So it's like I think the market is just really bad right now. So, or it's good for if you're selling, I think, but if you're buying, like things are just getting taken. Like even my friend who's moving because of the mold situation, like um because the people bought the thing. She said she was looking for like a month and like they ended up having to go with this one new apartment complex and it's ridiculous. She's paying like $2,000 and I mean, it depends where you're living. $2,000 in rent may not sound like a lot if you're in like New York or something, but like in Milwaukee, like that's crazy for like a one bedroom.
That's
Um,
that's more than my mortgage. That's so,
yeah. So I mean, it's just I think it just depends. Like a few years ago, I think like stuff was cheaper and like it like because like my apartment now like I was having such issues with this apartment and now looking at these other apartments I'm like maybe my apartment's not that bad. Like I'm paying half the price for this apartment and like it's not as like these other companies are wanting 2.5 months rent to break your lease. Mine's only a month. So I'm like, oh, okay. So maybe where I'm living isn't actually that bad once you start looking at other places. And I don't know if that's just because the market is changed or if that's always been their contract that it's that much to break your lease. Cause that's like $4,000, $5,000 just to like say I want to leave early. Um,
yeah,
which is crazy.
that's yeah. I've never heard that. I mean, the most I've had when I rented like a room in a house or something was like a month, like you're saying. But like
Mhm.
I've never rented an apartment, so I don't know what it's like. But I mean that's
Yeah. I mean, my apartment wants a 90-day notice to leave. So I'm technically going to be paying on this apartment for 3 months while also paying on this other one for 3 months. So it's going to be a lot of money. Like, it should honestly be 30 days notice because, like, that's how much I think like, if someone were to evict you, I think it's only 30 days. So it's like, why isn't mine 30 days, but yours could be 30 days? I'm
yeah,
not really sure. I mean, because it's in favor of the apartment complex.
yeah
But
the old double standard kind of thing almost.
mhm.
So,
But
but
it's not really fair for people renting. I mean, we're paying all this money just to, I guess, for the comfort of not having to like deal with maintenance and grass mowing and whatever. But
But so what now? How about the actual moving process? Has that ever been a problem, or do you have a lot of stuff to move, or
well, yeah, I mean, so kind of like debate between the fact, I don't know if you've ever dealt with movers. So like I like my family's so great. Like they always want to offer to help move, but like when I just worry about my dad because like he helped move one of a guy like he helped move one of a guy I was dating at one time because I was like, oh, help us move. And he got a concussion because like how the house was built, like he was holding something and he smacked his head and like he was sick for like a year from that. So like I don't I feel bad like asking for help for him to move because like, parents get old and stuff and like you don't want to have to like ask them for help. So I had hired movers when I moved here, but and I don't know, I'm sure there's better mover companies than others, but like I don't know, some of my boxes got missing because there's some stuff that I still don't have that I'm like, where did that ever go? And like
oh,
I know they dropped my washer and dryer. I had to get someone to come out to fix it. Like my TV, they dropped another box full of like glass stuff and like I think it was plates and my plates broke.
oh, that's
Um
wow,
yeah,
that's
so
a
I'm almost just like I know. I was like, I don't know, because like you're paying these movers like $150 an hour and they request 2 hours, but you don't need them 2 hours because I don't have that much stuff. So I'm like, I would love to just help and like carry my own stuff, like the valuable stuff and leave like the couch and like my dresser and stuff to them that I can't lift. But it's like I'm paying them $400 or so to move. I shouldn't have to be help. Like it's nice, yeah, I should help, but if you're paying someone to do that, it's like, well, then they should do it. But then you also want to make sure your stuff isn't damaged because they're just kind of like you're just kind of like a person to them. Like, yeah, they're paying you, but they're just wanting to like get in and get out and go to the next place to make another $400, I'm sure. So and the stuff's heavy and you're coming up 3 flights of stairs. So I give them a lot of credit, but it's like I just wish they'd be a little bit more careful with your stuff. But I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I've never been a mover, so I don't know their mindset.
I've when it comes to me, I have a little. My case is a little different. When I moved into this house, I was able to move everything by everything that was in the house. I was able to move that myself. But I have several cars. That was the hard part, was moving all of my vehicles from one house to another house. So that takes like it's like an all day process. It could take more than a day. That's so to
Well,
rent
yeah,
a
how do you get back? Do you have to have someone come pick you up and drive you back to get your other car and then drive it back and
But
like
no, what I do is I get a tow dolly. Like I rent a tow truck. I mean, I'm sorry, I rent a moving truck. Then they get like a tow dolly where you can drive the car, the front wheels up onto the back of the tow dolly. So the basic, I'm just towing it from behind the truck. So
you're not
and
having to ask for help?
what's that?
You're not having to like ask another person for help because that's something I hate doing too. Because like I
Oh,
hate asking people for help if like I feel like I have to buy like I always want to like buy a pizza or buy something and like make it a party so that like they're helping for not just nothing.
yeah,
But
well, yeah, I did. Well, actually, I did. I'm my best friend, a friend I've had for like 40 years. He and he helped me move that last time. So he did come down and he helped me move a lot of stuff. So I was able to get the cars moved by myself, but he was then I take that part of that back from what I said. He did come back and now that you said that, yeah, he helped me move a lot of stuff out of the house and into the home, the new home itself. So I forgot about that part. So yeah, and that was nice. It's basically we're both like do it ourselves kind of people. So it's like
yeah,
it was then that's why we were able to get it done. But yeah, I don't mind helping. I know what you're saying about getting someone on board, but when he needed help moving, I helped him. So it was like it was like a back and forth thing. So and
mm,
give and take. So yeah, definitely, I was very much willing to help him out whenever he needed something, and it's like he's like family essentially. So, but and a family member that's willing to that we're both willing to do things for each other. So it's and we don't expect anything in return. So that's the big thing. So.
yeah, you need a friend like that. I wish I had a friend like that here. I don't think my friends would come from Wisconsin to help me move.
And so as far as the moving it, so I guess for you though, you're long distance. So the most I've ever moved is maybe at one
Yeah.
time is uh maybe 20 miles away from where you lived. So if you're yeah, I don't know if it's greater than that, but for me, that moving everything 20 miles is not, that can be hard with the cars, moving the vehicles. But it's not that hard when you have a family member or someone come by to help. I don't know for you. I don't know how great of a distance is it. How great is your distance?
Um, Sorry, I just got a message. I still don't understand why they have to come through and take pictures of my stuff before. Like they want to come next week, but I'm not leaving until June. And they're like, we can't postpone until for another few weeks. We do this walkthrough at the time of notice um,
Oh
for
boy.
maintenance. And they're like, thank you for your understanding. No, I'm not understanding. I'm not. I almost want to say like, I don't honestly, I don't feel comfortable with someone coming into my place, like taking pictures of all my stuff and then me still living here for another 3 months. Like I've had too much stuff stolen in my life to like, I don't know. I think I'm gonna like after we're done with this, I kind of want to call them because honestly, like that's on it. Like I understand like they own the property, but it's like this is all my physical stuff and belongings. And like I don't it's one thing if maintenance is coming in to fix something, but the fact that they're taking pictures of all my stuff and then like who knows who can get access to that and like they know the unit, like they and I'm still living here for 3 months. Like I don't think that's acceptable. Like I don't know. That just seems kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, and as far as the people, I mean, I don't know how you feel about the people that are there. I don't know how long you've lived there, so how much you can trust them as well. I mean, I assume you're
Only
going
a
to be
year.
there.
Yeah.
Are you going to be there when they do it? That would be a big concern of mine.
Well, and that's kind of what I said in the text. I said, I honestly have been like, this is a really busy time for me. I don't have time to be home for someone to just take photos of my stuff. And they responded back that comment, like, thanks for understanding. No, I'm not understanding that. Like, I'm gonna give him a call. Like, honest, like, I don't know. Like, it'd be different if like all my stuff was packed and it was like move out ready. Like, I completely get that. I'm moving out, but the fact that all my stuff like I'm working like this weekend, I'm working another 20 hours and then now I'm expected to like clean all this stuff in like a day. Um yeah, I don't know. This just kind of is off-putting to me. Like I don't understand why it's needed. I understand if maintenance has to like check a few things, but I honestly don't even know what they'd be checking. I have my own washer and dryer. Like I don't know. I'm just going on a rant now because this shows how much that this apartment complex is the worst. But
Well,
Yeah.
the worst as far as that goes, but you did say it was better as far as the monthly cost, the monthly rent though, compared to the other
Yeah.
places.
I mean, but I am in a smaller city and like the place I'm moving to is a bigger city and like I still thought that their contract kind of sucked. Like it's $3,000 to get out of their contract. So it's still a lot of money. And they feel like they can come in whenever they want. Like every week I get a message that it's like, we are going to come in your building and like check something. And it's like, okay, I understand you need to check something, but does it have to be every week? Like they check the smoke detectors like every month. And it's like yeah, you don't want there to be a fire, but like can't I check it? Like I don't know. I just don't like, and maybe I should just buy a house because maybe this is just how apartments are run. But like I don't like someone, and I work like weird hours, and they always want to come at 7 in the morning, and I'm sleeping, and then
Oh,
my
I hate
cat runs out the door, and then I have to go chase it, and it's just a whole thing. And it's like, do you really need to be coming in here? Can I just test my fire detector and tell you it works? Like it's it's just honestly awful.
the yeah, the rooms that I did rent, I do know that I did change the lock on my room. Then the landlord told me I need to change it back so that he could get back into it if he needed to. So it was kind of like renting an apartment, but it was actually in a house still. So, but it
Were
was
you
very.
renting?
What's that?
Did you own the house or were you renting it?
This is back. I'm sorry. This is back. This is when I before I bought my first house. This was back in the 1990s. I rented a room in a house, and the when I was there, it was like very small. It was a very the landlord was very he was very nice. It was like a very laid back kind of attitude because it wasn't like an apartment complex. We had multiple people. It was just me and like a few other people living in the house. So it was more of a laid back kind of situation. It wasn't
Mhm.
as up. It was nothing like I'm going to come in there when I demand it. You know, he would work with me as far as
Mhm.
if he needed to do anything inside my room or anything like that. So it was, I like that situation, even though the house was kind of old and run down. I still like that situation better than what you're describing there. It's yours is, it sounds like very inconvenient. Mine was the landlord was at the time was able, was willing to work with me to get things done. So, and very
Right.
accommodating. So, and that was, it was a, I never realized that apartments could be like that since I haven't lived with one since I was 5 years old. So I didn't know so that they held these, that they could just be so, I don't know, what I don't know, just tell you what they would, live by their rules or else kind of an attitude. I didn't realize it was like that. So
Yeah, and I don't know if it's just this place, and honestly, like, I just get frustrated at this place because I know, like, I've left and gone out of town, and I came back once and my lights were on, and there was, like I have kinda, like, wine bottles, like, as decoration kind of at the top, but, like, some of them have, like, wine in them, and there was, like, 2 wine bottles missing because I
oh,
was like, "Why does that look so different?" And, like, I don't know, like, it just worries me, like I ended up buying like a camera and like leave it running for like now when I go out of town and stuff because I'm just like, are people coming in here like knowing because they know my work schedule and stuff. So like sometimes I've came home and like my patio door was unlocked. So sometimes I just wonder like if they come in. I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't know. I don't like that. I like it does work. Like it I mean, I guess that's apartments. Like they have keys to every room and like building, but it's just like I feel like that's not legal. But I don't know.
I had a similar experience at the same house. When I first moved into it, I don't smoke, and I have a private entrance into the room that I was living at, so I didn't have to use the same entrance as the other everyone else in the home. So I walked into my bathroom one day, and there was a cigarette on my bathroom sink. And I was like, where did
Mhm,
that come from? And so the only thing I could figure is that the person who lived in the room before me still had a key, which I had not changed. And they probably come in to decide they wanted to use the bathroom and then left the cigarette on the sink without thinking. So I've never
mhm.
smoked in my life. So it was,
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
scary.
after that, that's when I went ahead and changed the locks. And that's when the landlord said, well, you have to give me a copy of that key. And I said, okay, I understand. So
Yeah,
that,
and that makes sense. But yeah, you would think like I would want keys changed and stuff, like or because yeah, like especially at a house, like if it's a physical key, like someone can make a copy of that and then like still give their keys back, but someone still has that copy. So like you want like if you're moving somewhere, you definitely want to make sure like the landlord changes those locks.
right. Right. And I just because I'm gonna do it myself, or I just did it myself, and he was, it's I was it's just my way of doing things. I just do it without thinking. I just go ahead and I'll replace the lock, and but yeah, exactly. I'm not as far as in the house, like there was repair work that needed to be done, I would just do it. If it was simple stuff, I would just do it myself as well. And one of
Mhm.
those things I should have let him do it, but I just ended up doing it myself because it's just I figured it'd be quicker if I just did it myself and little things, patching up things here and there. So but
Yeah, that's crazy.
let's see. Before we go too far, we got Desenhaus Play 3.0 saying hello, hello back. Xavier Soto saying hi, and he also asks, "Can you say happy birthday to my dogs?"
Happy birthday, dogs.
Yeah, happy birthday to Xavier Soto's dogs. Alrighty. So, well, as far as moving as well, there's one other thing I think you wanted to discuss, and that was the that was it daylight savings time is this week. Completely forgot that daylight
Oh
savings
yeah,
time.
daily savings time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So did I until I saw on this like website, and I was like, wait a second, is that Sunday? Are we going forward or backward?
yeah, and for
But
me,
I'm pretty
it's always
sure.
annoying. What's that?
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, the it's really annoying for me. The spring, even though it's 1 hour, losing that 1 hour on the weekend just kind of makes me angry. I know it's like I know after a few days I'll get used to it, but it's like I lose that hour and I feel like uh, my Sunday is just so much shorter, and it really isn't. But for me, I'm like, oh goodness, I just feel like I lost something there, and I still work. I work on the weekends, but still I don't work as much, so I feel like
Mhm.
my time is being taken away from me when it's just that little bit of a little bit of an annoyance I have to deal with every once a year with it. So I do know that daylight savings time there was back in the 70s. I think there was a time where they decided during the Nixon administration where they decided not to have the clocks go forward, or they try. I'll phrase it this way: they decided to keep daylight savings time in effect all year round. So basically, in the fall, they didn't put the clocks back. So they left. So what ended up happening was it was extremely dark in the mornings. In fact, it was so dark that if I remember the story correctly, that some children were trying to walk to school and they got hit by a car because it was so dark they couldn't be seen. So they decided to reverse the policy the following year or something. I don't know what year that was, but and
Oh yeah, I
I don't.
think we talked about this last time there was daylight savings time.
Oh, we did wait. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, and as far as the yeah, for me, I don't really mind. To me, it's I don't really need that extra hour. How do you feel about getting that extra hour? So basically, daylight savings time is to give you that extra hour at nighttime. So basically, by summer, roughly, you'll have an extra. So the sun doesn't set till about 9 o'clock during
I
June.
mean, with this new job, I don't want that because I have to go to bed at like 7, 8 o'clock at night. So I don't want it to be light outside still. Um, but I mean, I would like it because it's nice in the summer for it to be lighter a little bit longer if you're out doing stuff. But um, currently, I'm not looking forward to it. No.
The for me, it doesn't really matter. I could take it or leave it. So I do
Yeah.
know that the extra hour in the morning is kind of interesting. When I used to fly airborne, when I was an airborne traffic reporter, I used to drive up to the airport, and I do know just before daylight savings time would kick in. Let's see, would that be what one of them? I forget which. I remember going into like the local McDonald's at like 4 o'clock in the morning, between 4 and 5, and the sun was coming up, and it was like kind of
Mhm.
interesting. It was like seeing the sun up so early, and but then all of a sudden we would switch the clocks, and all of a sudden it'd be like dark again, and I didn't mind that. So for me, it's like I guess some people just want to have that extra hour at nighttime of extra daylight. So I'm not sure. It's for me, it's not really a big deal. So I will say that there's a town up in the northernmost town in the United States. It's the northernmost point in Alaska. It used to be called Barrow, Alaska. They recently changed the name over the past year or so. They're so far north that daylight savings time means nothing to them because during the summertime they're north of the Arctic Circle, so they have constant daylight all 24/7
Oh, yeah.
during the
I don't know
summertime.
if I'd like that.
And then during the wintertime, during certain months of the year, they have constant darkness. So it's constantly and it's an actual town. It's quite interesting. And To them, I'm sure they're going daylight savings time. Yeah, we don't need that. That's it's
Yeah,
completely
right. It doesn't do anything for us.
so. And the people that live there have been living there for like 1,500 years. It's mostly the majority of the population is indigenous people. So, but
Hmm.
it's I don't know if Alaska actually does daylight savings time. If they do, they're probably like, yeah, whatever. So, but I like I said, I could take it or leave it. I guess that's another question we could ask. Or I don't
Yeah,
know. That's probably another way we could
we
go
can look
back.
at it.
Did you want to do that? Well, we can go back and do that if you'd
When you
like.
pull it up, I'm gonna run to the bathroom quick. I have to go so bad. I don't know if I
Oh,
should stop my camera or
okay. If you want to do that, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we can do
I'll
that.
be back in like 1 minute when you pull it up.
Okay, okay. I'll put you on hold there. So okay. So Katie's going to go ahead and she'll take a little bathroom break, and we'll go ahead. As soon as she comes back, we'll bring her up. So the for those, so we got Xavier Soto on right now saying, your dog's name are Snowball and is that Fox and Fox? Okay, so Xavier Soto, happy birthday to Snowball and Fox. So if you're still on, how old are your dogs? I'm just curious. The and as far as the dogs themselves, or what kind of dogs are they? I guess it would be the next question. The for our viewers. Now, do you have pictures? I don't know if we could show them how we could do that. I guess you could email the if you'd like to send email. There's an email on the front of the on the channel that you could just click on that, and you can send emails to me, and I could bring them up. I don't know if you'd be able to do it quick enough though. So, but anyway, the as far as the other comments, let's see. Nope. So what we'll do is we'll bring up the questions here as soon as Katie comes back. Let me see what we can look up here. Give me a second. Oh, 1 second. All righty. All right. So we had a question I asked earlier today. This was related. It says, I asked everyone, oh, I wonder if I said hello, how many people would say it back? So I said, let's try it. So I said hello. So far, we have 229 people that have said hello. I'm sorry, 229 votes. 89% of those have said hello. So thank you for that. And we got 4 comments so far. Let's take a look at what we got of these so far. I like the first response here. We got Lewis. Let me bring up his comment here so I can see this. Lewis Crutchley saying, I missed the part where that's my problem. And nice Spider-Man response. The Clasher saying hello, thoughtful thoughts here. We got Roy 3.16 saying hi Z Moon, hello back. Kiss Best Fan saying hello. Now where's my free cookie? And Jar Jar Bell the third. Oops, let me bring you back up here. We got Katie there. Hello, Katie, you're back.
Hello.
So I'm going through. This is a question I asked earlier before I started the show.
Oh,
This
okay.
completely. This is another one. I'll explain, since you're back, I can explain what it was. Let me get my magnifier. It was just a silly question. I said, I wonder if I said hello, how many people would say it back? So I said, let's give it a try.
Okay.
So 229 votes. We had 89% that said hello back. So, and that was just reading the comments to the people while you're away there. So, oh, and we got a comment from Xavier. His dog's names are Snowball and Fox. He says Snowball is 2 years old and she is a chin. No, I'm sorry. What is that?
Chihuahua. Is that a Chihuahua?
Chihuahua. Okay. And Fox is 4 years old and he's a German Shepherd. Okay, cool. Cool. So, alrighty. So let's get the question back over here. Give me a second. The one that you and I asked earlier. Yeah, let's look at this one and then we can ask. Oh, actually, let's ask the other one first. Do you like what was the question? Do you like daylight savings time? Or what was the how did you
Yeah,
want
I
to
think
phrase it?
we asked that one other time though, and a lot of people didn't participate in daylight savings time because of another country.
Oh, that's right. We did do that already, didn't we? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we could leave it out then, I guess. So all right, well, let's look at the question we have here. Okay, so have you ever had a bad moving experience? Leave a comment. So far, we have 64 votes, 70% with yes, 16% with I've never moved, and 14% with no. So I'd like no, and let me double check, make sure no comments here. No comments. All
So a
right.
lot of people have had bad moving experiences. It's not just us.
Yes.
I'm
And
surprised.
You're surprised what? That makes that you, yeah, 16%. Yeah, I know. So
Mhm.
I would suspect maybe that a lot of them are a lot of the people on my channel are children, so maybe they're living with their parents still. So that's possible. The possible reason why.
Sure.
So alrighty, well we'll go ahead and wrap everything up. Is there anything else you'd like to say to our viewers for today before we say goodbye?
Um, just the takeaway notes are if you're getting a house, make sure you have your own real estate agent. If you're moving, make sure you read that contract if you're going into an apartment so there's no hidden things. And yeah, look for people that are sincere and have your best interest at heart because sometimes it's hard to tell. And if you can't like read people very well, it's hard to tell people's like true intents on things. Cause I mean, in anything in life, but especially for things when you have to sign contracts.
Yeah, yeah, definitely read those contracts word for you know, because you don't want to be once you sign it, they'll hold you to it, and they'll be friendly
Mhm.
at first, but then you'll come back later and say, "Oh, wait a minute," and they'll say, "No, nope, you signed that contract, you're
Yeah.
committed." So yeah, be very careful with those. So and
Once they get
also,
you,
yep, yeah,
they're
you're
nice until they get you to sign it.
Also, everybody, if you'd like to support what we're doing, I have the affiliate link for NordVPN in the description below. If you'd like to support what we're doing, we'd really appreciate that. And we've had several people click on that so far. And once again, I'll endorse the service. I have used it in the past. It's a very good service. Good for hiding your location, protecting your identity. And several people have said you can watch the show. You can watch TV shows or stream TV shows in other countries that have been blocked where you are located. So that works for that as well. So, and Xavier gave one more question. Have a good day. See you much. Thank you. You too. So, all right. Thanks everybody. And we'll see you next time.